Coming up on college hockey now, it's the ECAC Rewind. We take a look back at the 2015-16 season in the conference.
What a drive to the net by Connor Clifton. A collision at the net and a penalty call right away here.
A lot more calm.
Score! Power play goal number 2.
Oh, what a year it was.
Score for Jimmy Vesey for Harvard, and it's 1-0, Crimson on top.
And we catch up with a pair of Bobcats fresh off their trip to the Frozen Four.
We are starting to look at the bigger picture and see what we did as a whole this year and what we did for the program and the school and the community and everything. It was awesome.
Plus, the ASN 8 takes center ice.
St. Dennis stops, looks, shoots, and a big save by Lyon.
It's the ECAC Rewind on College Hockey Now, and it starts right now. Hey there, welcome into College Hockey Now, your source for all things college pucks with former Stony Brook netminder Brendan Jones. I'm Jorge Andres, and on today's show, we highlight the ECAC Conference, a conference, Jonesy, that had 3 schools in the national tournament this year.
Yeah, Harvard and Quinnipiac were locks. Quinny was actually #1 in the nation for a while, but Yale had to sweat it out on selection day. There were some weird things going on in other conferences that almost didn't allow them to get in.
Certainly were. Let's take a look at how the season ended in the conference as we take a look at these standings with just 1 loss. Like you mentioned, Jones and Quinnipiac at the top of the conference. Yale second. And a lot of people hot on them early for next year as they have a lot of returning players. Harvard finishing 3rd right there thanks to Jimmy Vesey, who took home that Hobie Baker Award. And of course, the 2 rivals, St. Lawrence and Clarkson, they round out the top 5. The other side of the conference had RPI, Dartmouth, and Cornell in the middle of the pack. A lot of people liking Dartmouth as a surprise team for next season. They're followed by 2014 national champion Union, and then Colgate, Brown, and Princeton finishing in the cellar of the conference. So to the ECAC Championship in Lake Placid, New York is where we go next. After a first-round upset that knocked out Yale, it was Harvard and Quinnipiac that went at it, and Jonesy power play success proving to be the determining factor as the Bobcats went 3 for 6 on the power play, while the Crimson went 0 for 4 to give the Bobcats a 4-1 victory and their first Whitelaw Cup. After the game, Connor Clifton and Coach Pecknold with some reaction.
Oh, it's a special feeling. We knew we were a great team this year. We really had a nice run, and we really put it together tonight especially. Harvard's a great team. We knew that. They're really talented. Really team win, and we battled and got it done.
It's a great thrill for us. The guys, a great group of guys, really, really great. I say it all the time, you know. I mean, we got 9 kids taking a graduate class this year. I mean, great academically, great grades, and they do the right thing when no one's watching. So we're real proud of them, and obviously the hockey accomplishments have been great too.
I got to directly relate it to my teammates. I mean, I'm
right on cue.
There they are.
It's like they could hear you talking.
Yeah, there they are. There goes my hair.
Immaculate flow for Clifton. Gotta love your teammates too. A 4-1 win for the Bobcats and an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. But how were they able to pull it off? Cue Jonesy. Break it down for us.
It's quite obvious that hockey is a fast game, and it's only getting faster. There's a lot more to it other than scoring goals, making saves, and of course, hitting people. It's the ultimate team game in my opinion, and in this segment, I break down just how some of these teams go about their business on the ice. First, let's check out the national runner-up in the Quinnipiac Bobcats. Look at Tommy Shutt, absolutely relentless on that forecheck, hunting pucks, as Rand Pecknold would say. So once he causes the turnover, let's start that forecheck. KJ Tiffenworth, first man in, forces that puck up the wall, finishes his check, and then Tommy Shutt got back, cuts off his man. That neutral zone starts to clog up, and then Mr. Taverner meet Mr. Esposito, and that physical play by the Bobcats, crunch, nice hit. Quinnipiac gets the puck out of the zone. They retain possession. Onto their opponent, Harvard, who loves to play with speed. They live and die by it. You can see the shot doesn't get through there. Kerfoot doesn't care. Vesey and him off to the races. Look at this gap. Way too much room for one of the best players in the country. The patience, the poise by Jimmy Vesey. A flurry of scoring chances there. Harvard couldn't find the back of the net, but it just goes to show you speed does work, it kills. And then we have Desmond Bergen, a little chip off the glass. Both of his forward shoulders are already turned up the ice. A nice fortuitous bounce. Vesey gets the rock, We follow Criscolo to the net because he is actually going to be the eventual goal scorer. In transition, Harvard wins the game, and they advance to the ECAC finals. And then we go to the Yale Bulldogs, one of the best penalty kills in the country. Let's show you why. 1, 2, 3 bodies up top with one man behind him, Rob O'Gara, holding it down, sticks in the passing lanes, and they let their all-star goaltender, Mr. Alex Lyon, see the shots. If you have a good penalty kill, it's because you have a great goaltender in Alex Lyon. Yale, phenomenal penalty kill. Let's show you why also. Look at this gap control. That's Sam Annis, one of the best players in the league. He doesn't care. He's going to poke it right off his stick. Frankie DeChara comes in for the support. They get the puck out of the zone. Another great aspect of Yale's penalty kill. And then this is the third one that takes so much pride. We're going to stay with Carson Cooper here because watch him go below the dots, transition above the dots, block that shot, absolutely sell out. That puck goes out of play, and you can see he's feeling that one. But that takes so much pride. Yale, one of those teams with so much effort, they really do give it up for the boys. That was B's Breakdowns.
Professor Jonesy giving us some knowledge. All right, so Quinny got the conference title in an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament where they came up short against the eventual national champion North Dakota. But outside of just the Bobcats, there was plenty of talent around the ECAC conference as a whole. Here's your 2015-16 ECAC first team All-League. Sam Annis out of Quinnipiac, Nick Lappin of Brown, Jimmy Vesey of Harvard, Gavin Bayreuther of St. Lawrence, and a pair of Bulldogs out of Yale, Rob O'Gara and Alex Lyon, who is now part of the Philadelphia Flyers system.
We are now pleased to welcome into the program two national runner-ups in Sam Annis and Devon Tays from the Quinnipiac Bobcats. And guys, I know it stings when I say national runner-up, but now that we are a few weeks removed from the end of the season, looking back on the year, Sam, you can't be upset with all that you guys have accomplished.
Yeah, it was definitely a great season, and it definitely does still sting to hear national runner-up, and I don't know if that's something that we'll ever fully get over, but we are starting to look at the bigger picture and see what we did as a whole this year and what we did for the program and the school and the community and everything. And it was awesome.
Now, staying on the positive side of things, Sam, you just signed a 2-year entry-level deal with the Minnesota Wild, and Devon, you inked a 3-year deal of your own with the New York Islanders. Congratulations to you both. Devon, we will start with you. What are your plans moving forward in terms of school and hockey?
So I decided to stay at school for the rest of the semester just to make sure I pass all my classes and stay on schedule for graduating at the end of next year with a lot of my classmates. So I plan on taking summer courses, and then I only need 1 or 2 classes to take during the year, and then I'll be able to graduate.
Now, Sam, I know that you are going to finish your degree in 3 years. Kudos to you. What does it mean that you were able to, in fact, finish school before going pro?
Yeah, it means a lot that I'm able to do that. And luckily, when I was in junior hockey before coming to Quinnipiac, I took a couple classes that transferred through, so I came in with some credits, and I never really thought that I'd be able to graduate in 3 years. And if I had come back, I would have been able to get my MBA. So either way, it was a good situation for me. And I think it was a little easier to decide to leave that I was getting my degree. And I think my parents are much happier about that. So, I don't think they would have been so happy if I wasn't getting it. But yeah, it means a lot, and I'm glad I'm getting that done.
There's always life after hockey. Now, Devon, Coach Pecknold always says your development throughout your time as a Bobcat has been tenfold, saying on multiple occasions that you're the best D-man in the league and one of the best in the country. So you tell me, on the ice, how have you seen your game change while at Quinnipiac?
I feel like when I came in as a freshman, I was a little bit raw. I mean, growing up, I was a really small, undersized guy. Didn't have the legs that some of the older guys or more mature guys had. So I came in a little bit raw, and I had to work on some things, work in the gym. And I've seen my skating ability and my overall strength just improve dramatically over the last 3 years here. And that's credits to our strength guy, Coach B, Ran Pecknold, and the coaching staff here, and Reed Cashman.
Now, Sam, you led the league in scoring. You're a 2-time All-American, but scouts are quick to point out that your size is something that might hinder you in terms of playing at the highest level. Tell me why they shouldn't be worried.
Well, I guess it's kind of the same thing when you're being recruited for college hockey. You don't need every school or every team in the country to like you. All it takes is one team, and Minnesota was a team that I felt had a good understanding of the type of player I am, and they don't think that the size is going to hinder me too much. And I've had to deal with it my whole life, so I'm not afraid to prove some more people wrong at the next level.
Now, since I have you both here, let's start with Devon. What is it like playing on the back end, knowing that you have one of the most prolific goal scorers in the league up front?
It's definitely a little more calming. You know, if you let one in, that Sam's probably going to get 1 or 2, hopefully 3 or 4 in that game to help you out. But I mean, it just helps so much. Even defensively, he's grown so much, which helps us in the defensive zone, getting pucks out, which allows him to go play offense. And we just want to get the puck on his stick as much as possible and let him do his thing.
Sam, same for you. What is it like playing with such a steady defenseman and Mr. Tays? Go ahead, pump his tires.
Well, I like it in games. I don't like it in practice because he's tough to get around. But no, he's truly one of the best defensemen I've ever played with, and his stick and his brain are really two of the most impressive assets to his game. And I love having him on the power play because he's good at getting me and Saint and other guys the puck. But he's really grown a lot as a player, and it's just great to have him out there.
Awesome. All right, that's Devon Tays and Sam Annis of the Quinnipiac Bobcats, both on their way to the pro ranks. Guys, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, still to come, Quinnipiac got the conference title this season, but Yale and Harvard are right there behind them at 2 and 3. We break down those two teams when we return. Welcome back into college hockey now with Brendan Jones. I'm Jorge Andres. We're talking ECAC conference this past season. Now, Jonesy, we recapped how Quinnipiac won the title. However, 2 other teams had a very good season. They finished 2 and 3 respectively, Yale and Harvard. And let's talk about Harvard, and especially one Jimmy Vesey, Hobie Baker Award winner, 24 goals, 46 points in 33 games. Jonesy, how was he so explosive this year?
He's just a coach's dream. He's a big kid, about 6'2", a little over 210, and he just protects the puck so well. He doesn't give anybody any time and space when he's playing in the defensive zone, so he's allowed to cause those turnovers. He's just one of those kids that coaches love. Look how strong he is in this play. Then look at the skill, too. A nice little toe drag, fires that puck unguarded. He was getting mauled right there. But the funny thing is, if people think that he got snubbed last year for the Hobie Baker Award, well, look, he came back for his senior year, and he won it. Yeah. So he's just that type of kid. He just has that type of attitude that he's going to go ahead and do it. I love this move, too. A nice little 5-hole move.
Fast.
Forehand. Oh, man, I'll see it one more time. I love this. Goes to his forehand, goes with that, open up, going 5-hole. He's just so good, so much skill, and it's just one of those things that coaches will take all day.
A special player, very fast player. We talked about him, captain of this Crimson team, but what about that other captain, one Kyle Criscolo, just a 4th two-time captain in the team's history. He had 19 goals, 32 points. What was it about his play that not only complimented VC, but also individually made an impact?
So obviously VC made Criscolo a better player. They're actually very good friends off the ice, which I did want to mention makes a big difference. Yeah. I mean, you're friends with all 25, 30 teammates that you have, but there's always that niche that you have. And him and Criscolo are very good friends. But, obviously VC makes him better. Criscolo, I think it does the same. He's the energizer buddy on that line. He just goes into the corners, gets VC the puck, makes him look good, and then in return, VC will put one in the back of the net and give him a nice little apple.
Chemistry is key. Let's talk Yale now, and especially the Bulldogs netminder Alex Lyon, now part of the Philadelphia Flyers system. Heck of a year, Jones. You're a former netminder. You loved his games. 19, 8 and 4, 936 save percentage, and a goals against average of just 164. Pretty plain and simple. Why was he so special?
He's locked in, and I spoke to some of his teammates. I know some of the guys on the team, and I was like, listen, you guys got to tell me, what's the inside scoop, excuse me, with Alex Lyon? He is so focused. He comes to the rink every single day and gets better. He's actually a 4th-generation Yalie, so, he's not too unfamiliar with the school, so he came here, felt like he had a home, and the kids just respect him. He makes his teammates better in practice, and the boys love that. Look at the athleticism right there, diving around. He brings it every day. That's the sign of a player that is going to go a long way, and like you said, he signed with the Philadelphia Flyers, so it's working out for him.
Yeah, the defense was very key in that as well. This Yale team, a lot of people like for next season. They have a lot of returning players. This Bulldog team is certainly going to be a team to keep an eye on. All right, much more to come here on College Hockey Now. Plenty more of talk. We break down the rest of the conference, including who could be that big surprise next year. Stick around. Welcome back to College Hockey Now with Brendan Jones. I'm Jorge Andres. We're recapping the ECAC 2015-16 season. Jonesy, we talked about the top 3 teams in the conference, but let's talk about the rest of the pack, starting with St. Lawrence. They finished 4th in the conference. Their MO, kind of an all-or-nothing team led by Gavin Bayreuther. What did you like about them this year?
They got their offense from their defense. Like you just mentioned, Gavin Bayreuther was a defenseman, led that team in points. Former head coach Greg Carvel said they struggled at times to compete, and that's when they faltered. The team as a whole, although, played fast. They love to play hard, make the opposition uncomfortable, but they relied way too much on Kyle Hayton, their all-star goaltender, who was huge for them down the stretch. So athletic, mentally tough, loves to prove people wrong. And then we're on to Clarkson, led by Sam Vigneault and Jordan Boucher. The Knights have actually reached the 20-win mark for the second time this decade. Not a bad season for them at all. Head coach Casey Jones always does a great job with this group. They got hot late, wins over Harvard and Dartmouth, but they couldn't sustain it. They fell to their rival, St. Lawrence, at Appleton Arena. That one had to hurt for sure. Then next, RPI, a goaltending duo for RPI, a very good goaltending duo, I might add. Jason Kasdorf and Cam Hackett. Kasdorf recently signed with the Buffalo Sabres. Kids from Winnipeg, 2.3 goals against average, a .931 save percentage, 9th in the nation. Are you kidding me? That's awesome. Hackett was a freshman last season, so he will be the guy for sure coming into the net next season. On to the next one, Union. A team that is trying to find their way back to the top when they won it all in 2014. A good place to start is with junior forward and co-captain Mike Vecchione. He was named the team's most valuable player. Vecchione led the team with 20 assists and 29 points. This season, Vecchione was one of the top centers in the country. I love this stat, 5th in the nation in face-off wins with 508, something that goes unnoticed. Absolutely love it. Then on to Colgate. The Spink brothers, the name of the game for them. Tyson and Tylor, 37 points for Tyson, 34 for Tylor. The twins, when you talk to Coach Harder, he'll tell you that they didn't get along when they first got to Colgate, but since then they have completely changed. They are extremely coachable now, role models for the guys. The problem for Colgate this year wasn't that they weren't producing, it's that they weren't very deep. Their top 6 forwards were the only ones that were executing. They couldn't get any more offense from anybody else on the team.
All right, Josie, let's talk about the Ivy League teams now, starting with Dartmouth. They had a heck of a goalie in Chuck Grant, Conference Goalie of the Week 3 times this year. What did you like about them?
He's so athletic. I absolutely love Chuck Grant. He actually single-handedly won a game versus Yale to allow the Big Green to advance in that ECAC tournament. You know, you look at this team and you see guys like Brett Patterson, a forward and defenseman who came up big this year. Connor Yao, a kid that was, not looked at to be somebody to go to in the beginning of the year, wound up having a phenomenal year. Then Tim O'Brien, Coach Gaudet, says is the fastest kid he's ever seen at Dartmouth. So not a bad year for the Big Green at all. I definitely have him as a sleeper next year, like you mentioned earlier in the show. On to Cornell. Cornell, I actually got to see them in person over in Naples at the Florida College Hockey Classic, and I was very impressed with this team. They played a very physical game against a tough Providence team that and they actually wound up beating them. Providence was ranked number 1 in the country at that time. I think that was their first loss of the year. Goaltender Mitch Gillum stood on his head. Jeff Kubiak was everywhere. He buried a few and certainly was a presence every time he was on the ice. Cornell, not a bad year at all. Then on to Brown. They lost in the first round of the playoffs this year to RPI. But they sent a few guys to the next level, and that's very good and big for recruiting. Nick Lappin signed with the New Jersey Devils shortly after the season ended. He led the Bears with 33 points. Mark Necelerio added 22 points of his own, then signed with the Providence Bruins after his senior campaign. Also big years for Tommy Marchand and Max Gottlieb. So the horizon is right. Those two kids are young. And then we have Princeton at the bottom of the barrel. They struggled the past few years. Head coach Ron Fogarty, still early in his tenure, does a great job with them, but the problem is recruiting for Princeton. You got to feel for them. They're in the Ivy League. And it's just tough to recruit to the Ivy League right now, simply because they start later than everybody else. And if you can get into Princeton, you could probably get into Yale, you could probably get into Harvard, and right now those programs are doing a little bit better.
Certainly they are. All right, still to come, we've recapped the ECAC Conference and given you the X's and O's, but what about the top plays? The ASN 8 hits center ice next. Welcome back to College Hockey Now with Brendan Jones. I'm Jorge Andres. We've recapped the season in the ECAC Conference. Time now to check out the top plays of the year on the ASN 8, starting with Quinnipiac and Yale. Travis St. Dennis and Sam Annis coming down 2-on-1, but no. Alex Lyon, the netminder, shutting the door there. The Bulldog goalie, fantastic job.
Over to St. Lawrence and Colgate. Drew Smolczynski actually causes the turnover, gets the puck on his stick, puts it in the back of the net on his backhand. Phenomenal goal by there. Bright spot for the Saints.
Conference Championships, Bobcats Crimson, Ryan Donato off the faceoff, coming down, shooting and burying it, beating the netminder. Great player for Harvard, Juan Donato.
On to Quinnipiac and Dartmouth in the ECAC playoffs. Connor Yao beats Michael Gardig on his knees. Fires it over Gardig's shoulder. Gardig was falling, Yao was falling, goal.
Championship again, 3-on-2 for Harvard, but again, you mentioned Gardig, he wasn't done. Michael Gardig, the great save on Victor Dombrowski. Fantastic job by the goalie.
On to the Hobie Baker Award winner, Jimmy Vesey. Look at this, forehand, backhand, Cam Hackett. Sorry, bud, I am a senior and I know what I'm doing.
Dartmouth Quinny now for the next one, the future wild forward, Sam Annis, with the phenomenal redirection goal. Take another look, fantastic. I love that kid, he's gonna be special.
Number one play, Jimmy Vesey cuts the blue line in overtime, fires the puck off the back of his teammate's dome, right off the bucket. They win Harvard onto the ECAC final, where they lost to Quinnipiac.
A fantastic year in the ECAC Conference. Congratulations to all the teams. That's gonna do it for us. From Brendan Jones, I'm Jorge Andres. You've been watching College Hockey Now, your source for everything college pucks. We'll see you next time.